Hey everyone, welcome back to another Chess on Ice strategy video. Today I'm going to be looking at an endgame scenario, and I mean really an endgame scenario. We're talking about just a few rocks left in the entire game. In this situation, you can see it on screen now, we are down to the last two rocks for both sides. You're yellow, you don't have hammer, but you're up 2 points in the 8th end of an 8-end game. Now, it doesn't really matter in this situation what the tiebreaker scenario is because it's impossible for you to lose. So you're just trying to win outright, with tie being the bad outcome here, right? The most red can do is get 2 and tie you. Now what I want you to think about here is what's the best play for you with your first skips rock. And you can look at the house and see there's actually nothing in the house. The only thing remaining is one of your own rocks just behind the house. Other than that, you've done a good job. It's a very clean end. You're up 2. So take a moment, I'll pause for a second, think about what the best shot call is here for you with the yellow rocks and that 2-point lead. Okay, so if you've thought about that for a bit, I think the best call here, and in fact I'm pretty much 100% sure if you think about it, it's obviously the best call, is that you want to, if possible, hit your own rock out of the back of the house. If you successfully do that, if that rock is completely gone, there's really nothing for red to do to get their 2 points. They can put a rock anywhere in the house, and all you have to do is hit it. You can even roll out, doesn't matter. You hit it and remove it with your last one, and the game's over. You win. If for some reason you're really uncomfortable hitting, maybe you could argue for some sort of draw, but I don't think that's a good idea, and I'll show why. In fact, I think the second best play, if we're going to put that rock back there, is to just throw your last rock away, or your second to last rock away. Why? You're still leaving the other team with almost nothing to use. Yes, the team with red can try to dead freeze and have one in the house, and that's a little tricky to get rid of, but honestly, a lot of curlers out there, even a lot of club curlers, will be able to get rid of that red rock because it's so far back in the house and barely biting. If you hit it on the inside, you may not be able to move it very far, but you can probably move it out of the rings. In addition, it's not that easy to just make that freeze, right? And if it's not made perfectly, it's going to be all the easier for you to remove that red rock. So while hitting the yellow one is better, the second best choice is probably not to throw at all. But now let's look at what actually happened in the game. I was playing the red rocks, knew I was in a lot of trouble here, but I was surprised my opponents actually threw this rock. They tried to throw one in the front of the house, I think in their heads just strengthening their position, figuring there's really no way for me to... I'm going to move this over just a little bit because it was a little bit farther off the center line. No way for me to take advantage of this. So again, if this is the rock that's thrown, I want you to think about what kind of shot you want to throw as red, if this is your second to last rock with red and you need 2. And really think precisely about where you want to put it before, or what you want to do with it before I move on. And again, we'll take a little pause here, and then we'll come back and talk about where that rock should go. Alright, so I think most people will know you should draw here. You could hit, but it most likely leaves either an open or very easy hit. Like your best case scenario if you hit is probably hitting and rolling down this way, getting rid of this, and then maybe there's at least a little backing so it's not impossible that you would get your 2, but other than a flash, that jam is very unlikely, and it's unlikely the jam would stay on the rings. So, and even if it does, you probably have to deal with their rock, stay on, and not jam back. So instead, I think the key thing is you want to draw, and you want to get behind this yellow rock. A straight draw behind to the back of the house that's counting is great, but it might not actually be 100% ideal, because it leaves a very straight run back that's never going to be that long. Either you're not out, unless you get way back here where you're not counting, which leaves yellow with a lot of options, if you're out counting, you're not going to leave that much space. You are going to leave the potential for a yellow-red run back to end the game. So while that's very good, I think, even if you think that's the best, where your error should be is poking out the side just a little bit towards the center line. And why do we do that? One, I think at the club level, runbacks are always harder when they're not dead nose. Like, this one still works dead nose, but the margin for error is lower. And people are less comfortable having to throw even a slight angle. So a little bit of help there. You're also sort of tempting them into directly hitting the red rock because you've left them something to see there. But you're tempting them to hit it on the more dangerous side for them. If they hit this red rock and it jams with this rolling out, you still probably have some chance for two. It may be a tough double. Hopefully this is rolled out entirely, but even if it hasn't, you have something you can use at a tough angle double. You keep yourself in the game. If you stick out, if you draw this way and stick out a little this side, any chip ends the game, right? Because there's nothing to jam on. It goes out. So that's what I tried to do. I ended up back here. And my opponents tried to hit the red rock, actually chip the yellow, which is, of course, the other reason why putting the rock there and tempting them to hit is a good thing, because it's not a simple hit. They can very easily jam on that yellow rock. So they did. You know, these ones went out and out. And I had a simple, quote-unquote, draw to tie. Using the backing, I actually pushed this red rock like all the way to here. But we did get our two. In this case, the tiebreaker was sort of a shootout format where everyone had to throw one rock. My team got more points by getting more rocks closer to the button, and we won. And after the game, we talked about it with the other team, and they kind of realized the mistake they had made too. But I think it's an important kind of situation, even though it's a pretty simple one, to talk about. Because sometimes no rock is better than any rocks in play for you. And at the club level, that's not always the case when you have 3/4 of an end left, half an end left, and you're only up by one or two. It's still good to be in that situation. But I can understand times you're like, look, we're not hitting our way out of this. Let's just put more good rocks in. The other team probably won't score. At the club level, sure, that comes up sometimes. But when you get very close to the end, when your opponent is almost out of rocks, don't give them things to work with. When you do that, you open up the possibility of losses. And if you watch games at your club, you will see a few times a season this exact thing happen. A game that should be over ends up going the other way just because too many rocks were put in play by the team that was winning and virtually had the game locked up. All right, I hope you found that useful. We'll be doing more of these videos in the future, of course, doing more strategy, tactics, and the like. If you liked it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. As always, check out the Patreon where we do some more exclusive videos. You get videos like these a few days earlier than the general public, and you get your names in the credits. So always a nice plus there too. Until next time, good curling, and thanks again for watching.